My family let my ex-wife handle family money, cut me out of my inheritance, and called me difficult. So I froze every account. My family let my ex-wife handle family money, cut me out of my inheritance, and called me difficult. So I froze every ACO. When I split, my family didn't merely side with my ex-wife. They basically replaced me with her. They invited her to Thanksgiving and told me, "You can come as long as you keep your mouth shut and don't pull one of your pathetic scenes." I responded, "Don't worry. I'd rather eat with strangers than sit with traitors." 5 days later, I made a single move that blew everything up. My cousin contacted me sobbing, "Everything is falling apart. Please help us fix it." So I'm just going to dump everything here, because I'm still upset and want to know if I'm the only one who thinks this is nuts. If you get bored with family drama, simply scroll. But if you've ever felt like your own family was keeping you on mute, you'll probably understand. I'm not using a throwaway since I don't really care if anyone finds it. I am done keeping the peace. So, for context, I got divorced about a year and a half ago, which sucked, but wasn't shocking. My relationship with my ex, Robert, lasted nearly 6 years. I'm not going to sit here and say it was entirely her responsibility. For example, I can be quite blunt. I'm not big on the, let's talk about feelings for hours stuff. And, yes, perhaps I overdo the snark. Robert's issue was that she always wanted everyone to like her. She'd physically twist herself into a pretzel trying to be the nice guy in any situation. So marriage is not a fantastic match. It turns out, whatever. Here's where things become weird. Most individuals find it unpleasant to split up with their family, but they still, I'm not sure, recall who their actual blood is. Not my crew. My mother Faith and cousin Tucker, in particular, absorbed Robert like if she were their own. Lorraine is also my aunt. And I don't mean, oh, we're being civil to the kids. We don't have any. I mean, she's literally acting like she's still one of them. And I'm what? The mailman? It is wild. The first unusual thing I noticed was the group chat. Like, it used to be just me, my mother, Tucker, Lorraine, and my sister Tammy. Robert enters unexpectedly. They're all sharing pictures from this ridiculous pottery event, and I notice Robert's cup before everyone else's. Nobody even asks if I want to come. Then it's like, oh, we're doing a pumpkin patch day. And I see my own cousin post a selfie with Robert tagged, and everyone comments like, she's the fun aunt now. My phone lights up, but only because I can read all their texts. Not because anyone is speaking to me. I figure whatever. Maybe they're only being courteous. Maybe it's awkward for them too. To be honest, I started muting the chat because seeing them all hanging out with her as if nothing had occurred was getting me angry. Then, around 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I received this call from my mother. She's speaking in a serious tone, as if she's about to inform me someone has died or something. So I just reply, "What's up?" And she goes on about how things have been tight and she doesn't want any drama on Thanksgiving. She says, "You can come, but only if you keep your mouth shut and don't pull one of your pathetic scenes." What the hell? I haven't seen these people since July. Which scenes? So I question, why would I be the problem here? And she replies, well, you know how you get it. You always have to argue. And Robert just wants peace. I chuckle and ask, so Robert's coming then? And she says, of course. She's family, and she's been such a support to all of us. When I question, support how? My mother becomes quite defensive. Starts babbling on how Robert has been assisting her with housework and being available when she needs to vent about me not calling enough, etc. She literally says, Robert's unlike you. So at this point, I'm done. I claim I'd sooner eat with strangers than sit with traitors. She hangs up with me. Just hang up. That isn't exactly new. She has slammed the phone down on me since I was a child. When she doesn't want to deal with something, she makes the move. I text Tucker afterward like, are you serious with this? And he just responds, don't make it about you. Robert's been through a lot. What have I missed? Did I die and nobody told me? I try to get some actual answers and eventually phone my sister Tammy. She's the only one that doesn't treat me like I'm invisible, but she's so over it that she rarely participates. She goes on, look, Robert's just easy to have around. She bakes, she helps out, she makes everyone feel like they're not walking on eggshells. She replies, you know how mom is. You always clash. She likes people who tell her she's right. You never did that. Robert does. I ask whether Tammy thinks I should just give in, and she responds, I don't know. Maybe just don't show up. Let them have their peace. She sounds sick. Thank you, sis. So I'll spend the next few days just existing. I keep receiving group chat notifications. Robert is preparing pies. Robert is assisting Lorraine with her garden. Robert is showing my mom how to use her new phone. I'm not even furious at Robert. She's simply doing what she always does. Gaining everyone's support by being helpful and charming and allowing everyone to unload their issues on her. What about my family though? That is another story. I believe people support her because she is simply easier for them. She never calls someone out. She never pushes back. She will literally listen to Tucker's 2-hour rant about how his ex stole his air fryer before making him banana bread. Meanwhile, I push back when my mother says something inappropriate. I tell Tucker to quit whimpering. I don't pretend things are fine when they aren't. So, okay, I'm difficult. But at least I'm not deceptive. So Thanksgiving rolls along, and I'm sitting in my apartment, going through my phone. Lorraine sends me a Snapchat. The table is fully set. Robert is at the center, holding my mother's hand. Everyone's smiling. My own spot at the table is empty. It isn't even subtle. I understand it now. I'm not family. That's okay. If they want to choose Robert above me, that's their decision. But I won't just take it. I'm not going to sit here and let people pretend I don't exist, or that I'm a villain in my own life. So I started keeping a list on my notes app, noting every time Robert helped my family with something I used to do for work. Every time they ask her to do something I used to do, my mother allows her to handle things that should only be handled by family members. I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet, but it feels good to keep track. I'm not about to let them simply eliminate me. I'm not going to be the guy who stays at home on holidays while my ex takes my place. If they want a traitor at their table, they can have her. But they don't get both of us. So, that's where I am at. I'm not sure what my next move will be, but I'm done being the nice guy. Please drop any suggestions you may have. Because I'm not going to sit here and watch my family get played. Not this time. The next portion is probably going to be unpleasant. But to be honest, I'm prepared for it. Following the Thanksgiving catastrophe, I began to notice things I had previously ignored. Like something that didn't even register until I was scrolling and understanding I'd practically been kicked out of my family's life, and Robert had received my invitation. I'm not only talking about the holidays. I mean everything. When you become an outsider, you begin to notice all the tiny ways you are being replaced. For months, I'd get texts from Tucker about irrelevant family matters. But then I'd notice on his tails that Robert was there, hanging out at my mother's house, bringing food as if she was hosting, rather than visiting. She has her own cup at my mother's house. That is new. She never drank coffee while we were together. My cousin released a video of Robert telling Lorraine how to set up a television, as if she lived there. My aunt has her own speed dial now. It's constantly, Robert's so helpful. Robert's got the best ideas. Robert this, Robert that. As if I'm not even a footnote. I asked Tucker what was up with that, and he just said, "It's not that deep, man. Robert's just good with tech stuff. You know, mom's hopeless with remotes." Okay, whatever. But she never contacted me for assistance after the divorce. I guess I'm no longer helpful. Then there was this issue with the cabin. So my grandmother bequeathed this home upstate to her family, correct? It's not just my family, it's split between myself, Tucker, and Tammy. For years I was responsible for all bills and maintenance. Not that nobody said thank you. So I checked the cabin's group chat after ignoring it for a while, and it's all Robert. Robert is planning a summer getaway. Robert has gotten quotations for repairs. Robert is talking about making it more friendly. I scroll back and find that my name isn't even mentioned in the conversation over who gets to utilize the place in July. I practically co-own it, and no one even contacts me for a vote. I text Tucker, "Dude, what's going on with the cabin?" He just brushes it off, saying Robert is helping out. Everyone prefers her plans and you're usually too busy anyway. I mentioned it to Tammy, and she replied, "Yeah, I tried to say you should be included, but Mom and Lorraine said it's just easier with Robert." She elaborates. "You know how it is. Mom says you're always difficult to schedule with. Robert just takes care of things." I assure her that the deed clearly bears my name. Tammy just sighs and says, "I know, but I'm tired of fighting about it." She's not even on my side. She simply doesn't want to deal with it. I began asking around, but no one provided a straight response. Lorraine simply says, "Op's been such a blessing. You should be grateful she's keeping the family together." My mother says, "If you'd just come around more, maybe things would be different." I point out, You invited my ex to Thanksgiving and told me to stay quiet. And she just changes the subject, saying I always have to make things about me. It's really crazy. I understand that Robert is simple for them since she never says no. Always bakes, buys small gifts and performs the "oh let me help you" act. She did this with my friends as well. She was always the one everyone wanted to invite. What about my family? I guess I assumed they'd remember who I am. But no, they want simple, not honest. Then I discovered something that really ticked me off. So my mother always asked me for help with her expenses, such as online transactions and setting up autopay. After the divorce I kept doing it for a while. But then she says Robert has it covered now. Tucker informs me that Robert now has full access to my mother's accounts, including password handling, which I used to perform. I ask my mom, "Are you serious? You're letting my ex handle your money now?" She just says, "Robert's trustworthy. You're always so negative." She helps me feel in control. I tell her, "That's a horrible idea." And she snaps at me, says, "If I'm so worried, I can come over and help. But only if I can be nice for once." I tell her I'm not playing that game. So I make a point of saving receipts, literally and figuratively. I have screenshots, notes, everything. Every time Robert makes a call about the cabin. Every time she mentions helping with family matters. Every time she makes plans with my family. I'm not even aware of them. I'm not even furious at Robert for what she does. I'm upset with my family for allowing it to happen. Like I'm not perfect. But I never imagined they'd just delete me so they could have someone who never disagrees with them. Then I got a direct message from Lorraine asking if I could sign off on some cabin papers. I'm like, "What paperwork?" She sends me this document that says Robert is assisting everyone in setting up new autopay for utilities, and we need your information. I question, "Since when does Robert manage the bills?" Lorraine becomes defensive and says, "Well, she's the only one who's actually keeping up. You're always late. You don't answer. You're too busy." I say I pay my fair share every year. Nobody ever mentioned how late it was. She just replies, "Well, Robert will take care of it now. Just sign." I tell her I won't sign anything until I see it, and she freaks out, claims I'm manufacturing drama, and slams the door when I show up at her house to discuss. Tucker texts me later and says, "Just sign it. Stop making everything hard." So now it seems like everywhere I look, Robert is involved in something I used to do. She attends every group chat, family gathering, and stupid holiday email. I am not. I even asked my mother if I may stop by to discuss the cabin situation. She adds, "Only if you're not going to argue. Robert's coming over to help me with my taxes anyway." I hung up. That is it. I am not doing this. To be honest, I believe my family treats me this way because I refuse to play along. Even before Robert, I was the type of man who says what he thinks, calls BS, and doesn't pretend everything is good when it isn't. Robert is the type of person who will smile, nod and bake you cookies while you complain about the person who performed the actual work. So my family gets what they want. Someone who never pushes back or makes things unpleasant. I suppose that's what they value. Just a peaceful life without disputes. Even if that means pretending I don't exist. So I'm sitting there, watching everything unfold, and I understand that if I don't intervene, I'm going to be cut out of it all. Not only emotionally, but monetarily. Like the cabin, the family funds, and everything. They are just going to let Robert take over. Not happening. The next time they want me to sign something, I'll bring everything I have. I am not signing anything. I am not backing down. I'm not going to allow them to rewrite history to make Robert the hero and me the furious person who vanished. I'm done being quiet. If they want to fight, they will get one. So, buckle up. Because I am about to make it impossible to ignore. If my family wants Robert, they can have her. But they are not receiving my part, not a chance. Prepared for round 3. Update 1. Have you ever had the impression that you know people are talking about you but can't prove it? I'm not talking about paranoia, just all these strange vibes. Like, one day you're family, and the next you're the strange ex-brother who no one wants to text unless they need money. I began to notice what wasn't posted, as well as what was. Tucker sends me a meme about being the forgotten son, but he also appears in every single group photo with Robert. Not me. I saw Lorraine's Facebook post about being grateful for new traditions, which includes Robert holding a pie. And it's my grandmother's recipe, the one she claimed she'd never share. Wild. So I decided to stop waiting for them to play nice and just walk right through the front door. Not literally, but I scheduled a family gathering. I texted everyone in the old group chat, which Robert isn't in, and said, "We need to talk about the cabin, the money, and all the other stuff." Tammy replies, "I'll come, if this isn't just another argument." Tucker says, "Not my circus," but I tell him, "Yeah, it is. You just don't want to get your hands dirty." Lorraine attempts to delay, saying Robert can handle it. I answer, "No. This is for people who actually own things." She puts me on read. It goes like this. "I'm bringing every doc I have. I want to see receipts. I want to hear what everyone's plans are for the cabin and the accounts." Tammy arrives, clearly annoyed. Tucker is late. Lorraine is acting as if she is at the dentist. I have everything printed and folders piled. I am not playing around. I begin laying out the fundamentals. I tell them, "Look. Robert doesn't own the cabin. She doesn't get a vote. She doesn't get to move money around." I show them the group chats where she's making plans without me, the emails where she's organizing things with the electric company, and the screenshots where she tells people I don't care about the family. I show them every time I paid my share or was iced out of a decision. I'll respond, "If you want to change the way things work, you'll need my signature, and I'm not signing anything until I get some respect." Lorraine screams and responds, "You're overreacting. Robert's just helping because you're never around." I let her know, "I'm not around because you treat me like a problem instead of a person." Tucker responds, "Nobody wants a fight. But Robert makes things easier." I respond, "Easier for who?" "Easier for people who want to pretend I don't exist." Tammy actually agrees with me for once. Says, "Yeah, this is getting weird. Why is Robert running everything?" Lorraine responds, "Because she cares. You just make things difficult." We begin squabbling. Voices are raised, nobody is backing down. Tammy smacks her fist on the table and yells, "This is our family, not Robert's. This is going too far." Lorraine rises up, pushes her chair back, declares she's not dealing with it, and slams the door. Tucker attempts to flee. I stop him and say, "You're not bailing." He shoves me and says, "Don't grab me. I'm not your problem solver." I tell him, "You want to be a grown-up? Then act like one." It gets really hot and nasty. I won't hold back. I tell them, "If you keep letting Robert handle the money, I'll have to freeze the accounts until we figure it out. I co-own the cabin. I have legal rights. And if you think I am joking, try me." Tucker scoffs. "You wouldn't screw us like that." I responded, "You already screwed me. So what's the difference?" Tammy then takes out her phone and opens the group chat with Robert. All these messages like, "Crew is too angry," and "Let's just do things without him." I had no idea about this one. She responds, "I didn't want to get in the middle, but this is out of control." I stare at Tucker. He merely shrugs and says, "It's easier this way, crew." I answer, "Easier for you? Not for me. So now we're just yelling." Lorraine returns and says, "If you want to make things difficult, I'll contact Grandma's lawyer. See how you like it." I urge her, "Do it. I'll send everything I have." Tammy asks, "Can we just make rules? Can we just agree Robert doesn't get a vote?" Tucker glances at me and says, "Fine. What do you want?" I said, "I want you to stop acting like I'm dead and she's your new brother." It's extremely embarrassing. No one is crying, but it's clear that everyone is upset for various reasons. Tammy seeks tranquility. Tucker wants out. Lorraine wants Robert to run the show. I want my life back. I respond. Bottom line, if Robert touches another account or signs my name or even tries to make decisions with my property, I'll take it all to a lawyer. You want to fight? I'm done playing. Nice, Tucker replies. Fine. Then we'll just do everything by the book. Tammy says, I'm tired of all of you. She exits, slamming the door. Lorraine sits down and does not look at me. I let them know. You did this. You picked her over me, and now you get to live with it. I stand up. Tucker attempts to obstruct me. I push him out of the way, take my folder, and go. When I come home, I'm angry, but yet strangely peaceful. I know what my next step is. I'm not kidding. They like to play games involving money and property. I'll show them what happens when you encounter someone who reads the fine print. I have to say, It's amazing how quickly people change when you cease being beneficial or convenient for them. Do they want Robert? They can have her. But I won't let her take what's mine. Not now. Not ever. The next update will occur when I flick the switch. Stay tuned. Update 2. So, after that fiasco of a family gathering, I gave it 5 days. I kept expecting someone to text and try to smooth things over or perform the standard guilt trip, but nothing happened. It was just the same group chats that I wasn't in. Robert's name is everywhere. I am not getting tagged in anything. I believe they expected me to give up and fade away so they could continue playing house with my ex ruling the show. But, nah, not happening. I started with the cabin. I opened up all of the paperwork, the deed, the invoices, the co-owner agreement Grandma had drawn up back in the day. I double-checked every payment I made, every signature, and every correspondence regarding repairs. Tucker couldn't disagree with how cleanly I had it lined up. They didn't comprehend that you can't simply vote a co-owner out and expect them to stop asking questions. I called the management office and instructed them to halt any fresh alterations. There are no repairs or bookings. Nothing happens unless I sign off. I instructed them to send this in writing to everyone on the file. I sent an email to the family group with the legal notice attached. There's no warning. There is no please. Only, if you want to use the cabin, come talk to me directly. Robert's not on the deed. She doesn't get a say. Oh, and I'm not going to help with bills anymore. All payments must go through the official account, which I currently manage. I then handled the family accounts. I went to the bank and removed my name from anything Robert had touched. I called the bank manager, described the problem, and requested that they flag the accounts for third-party access. They asked for a written request, so I dropped it off the same day. Mom texted me later, upset that her online banking was not operating as Robert had set it up. I told her, talk to your own son for once, not your ex-daughter-in-law. She hung up. I texted Tammy, explained what I was doing and why, and said, if she wants her share of the cabin, she'll need to talk to me. Not through Lorraine. Not through Robert. She just replied, honestly, I get it. I'm tired of this too. Tucker called and attempted to argue. I said I was punishing everyone for not taking sides. I responded, you already picked. I'm just making sure you can't pretend I'm not here when it comes to money or property. Lorraine called and yelled at me, wondering how I could do this to my family. She tried to guilt me about Grandma's wishes, but I refused to yield. She claimed I was being vindictive. I responded, nah, I'm just enforcing what's actually legal. She slammed the phone down. Later that night I read a message from her about some people never grow up. I had to giggle. Robert attempted to phone me, first time in months. I let it ring out. She texted, can we talk? This is hurting people. I didn't respond. She emailed another saying, I'm just trying to help. Why are you making this so difficult? I blocked her. The fallout was swift. Within 2 days I began receiving messages from Tucker. First angry, then desperate. He went on. The cabin trip is ruined. Mom is freaking out. Lorraine is blaming everyone. Robert's crying. Nobody knows what to do. He replied, can you please just fix it? Everything's falling apart. I said to him, I warned you. You made your choice. I'm not coming to the rescue. I'm just making sure no one erases me out of my own life. Then Tammy called. She asked, did you really freeze the accounts? I said, yeah, I did. She clarified, honestly, I'm relieved. It's been messed up for months. They just let Robert do whatever because no one wants to deal with Mom and Lorraine. I responded, if she wants to do things right, come to me. We'll figure out a system that doesn't involve random people running our stuff. She said she would. That is all I wanted. The next weekend, I went for a run by my mother's house. Her automobile was there. Robert's weren't. Lorraine's automobile was also gone. I didn't go inside. I just kept going. Sometimes you have to let folks deal with the problem they created. I'm not fixing it for them. I know what you're thinking. Wow, harsh. But it's true. If you let people treat you like you're disposable, they'll continue to do so. My family desired ease. They are now entering hard mode. Robert expressed an interest in playing substitute. She is now out of the game. I did not break any laws. I did not yell or threaten. I simply used the information and rights I already had. Do you want to erase me? Fine. But you aren't receiving my stuff. Or my silence. So yes, I guess I torched the bridge. But honestly, it was already on fire. I merely made sure no one could walk back over it without asking first. No idea what the next holiday will be like. I don't really care. I got my life back. And I won't share it with traitors. If you're in the same position, don't just sit there and accept it. Remind everyone where the line is. Also, don't be afraid to draw it in permanent marker. That's it for me. I hope someone gets something out of this. Even if it's simply the realization that you don't have to let others walk all over you in the name of family. Sometimes you have to be the villain in someone else's story before you can be the hero on your own.